Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. This is not your average feel-good pat on the back speech. If you came here looking for a participation trophy, you're in the wrong room. If you're expecting me to coddle your excuses, to validate your weaknesses, or to tell you that it's okay to stay exactly where you are, leave now. Because today I have only one question for you. Are you that man? The man who refuses to accept mediocrity, the man who doesn't cry about his circumstances but creates new ones, the man who doesn't sit around waiting for permission to be great. I'm talking to the men who are tired of playing small, who are ready to grab life by the throat and force it to give them what they want. If that's not you, then sit quietly and stay out of the way. But if you're that man, or at least if you have even a flicker of that fire inside you, then listen up. Because today, I'm going to lay out the 7 truths that separate the doers from the talkers, the winners from the losers, the legends from the nobodies. And by the time I'm finished, you'll either rise to the challenge or crawl back into your pit of excuses. The choice is yours. Now let's get to it. Stop lying to yourself. Let me tell you the brutal truth. The number one reason you're not where you want to be is because you lie to yourself every single day. You tell yourself you're working hard when you're barely scratching the surface. You convince yourself that you're making progress when in reality, you're spinning in circles like a goddamn hamster on a wheel. You pat yourself on the back for effort when results are all that matter. Weak men love lies. They love the illusion of progress, the fantasy of hard work, and the delusion that their half-assed efforts will magically lead to success. But winners don't have time for lies. They confront the ugly truth head on. They look in the mirror and say, I'm not doing enough. I need to be better. I need to be ruthless with my own bullshit. And then they fix it. Most of you will never make it because you don't have the guts to face your own reflection and admit that you're weak, that you're undisciplined, that you're wasting time. Instead, you hide behind excuses, blaming the economy, blaming your upbringing, blaming society. But here's the truth. No one gives a damn. No one is coming to save you. No one is responsible for your life except you. If you want to be that man, the one who dominates, who crushes obstacles, who bends the world to his will, then stop lying to yourself. Wake up every day and tell yourself the truth, and if the truth makes you sick, then change it. Comfort is your greatest enemy. Comfort is a disease. It infects your mind, your body, and your soul, turning you into a soft, weak, pathetic version of what you were meant to be. The moment you start craving comfort more than progress is the moment you sign your own death certificate. Look at the great men of history. None of them got where they were by being comfortable. Warriors, kings, conquerors, billionaires. Every single one of them embraced discomfort. They put themselves in situations that forced them to grow, to sharpen their minds, to harden their bodies, to dominate their enemies. They understood that true power is forged in struggle, in suffering, in the fire of adversity. Yet here you are, chasing comfort like a lost dog. You want the easy path. You want success without pain, wealth without risk, victory without sacrifice. And that's why you'll never have it. Because everything you want is on the other side of suffering, and you're too weak to walk through it. If you truly want to be that man, you must make discomfort your ally. Seek out pain. Run toward fear. Do the things that terrify you, that challenge you, that make you question your own strength. Because only through suffering will you build the resilience, the discipline, and the power to claim what is yours. No one cares about your excuses. Let me make something crystal clear. Nobody cares. Nobody cares that you had a rough childhood. Nobody cares that you don't have the right connections. Nobody cares that you're tired, that you're struggling. that life has been unfair to you. You know who has problems? Everybody. You think you're special? You think your problems make you unique? Guess what? The world is filled with people who have it worse than you, yet they still find a way to win. Excuses are the currency of losers. Weak men cling to excuses like a drowning man clings to a rock, thinking it'll save them when in reality it's pulling them down. Winners, on the other hand, don't have time for excuses. They don't waste a single second crying about what's holding them back because they're too busy finding solutions, pushing forward, breaking down walls, and smashing through obstacles. Let me ask you something. If you were on the battlefield and bullets were flying past your head, would you stop and complain about how unfair the war is? Would you sit there whining about how you weren't properly trained? Hell no! You either fight or you die. And life is no different. Life is a war, and every day you have two choices: make excuses or make progress. But here's the real kicker. No one's even listening to your excuses. When you tell people your sob stories, they nod their heads, but inside they're thinking, this guy is weak. The world doesn't pity the weak, it preys on them. It tramples them underfoot and moves on without a second thought. So what's it gonna be? Are you gonna keep crying about your circumstances? Or are you gonna get up and do something about it? Because the clock is ticking, and every second you waste making excuses is a second you could have spent building your empire, sharpening your skills, and proving to the world that you are that man. You are who you surround yourself with. You ever wonder why you're not winning? Take a look at the people you hang around with. If you're surrounded by losers, you're going to be a loser. If you spend your time with complainers, you'll become a complainer. If your inner circle consists of weak, uninspired, low-energy people, don't be surprised when you look in the mirror and see the exact same thing staring back at you. Success is contagious, but so is failure. Power is infectious, but so is weakness. If you want to level up, you need to cut out the dead weight, and I mean cut them out like a surgeon removing a tumor. No hesitation, no second chances. If they're not pushing you forward, they're holding you back. And the longer you keep them around, the more damage they do. People say, but I've known them for years. Who cares? You think winners keep people around out of loyalty? No, they keep people around because they bring value, because they elevate them, because they challenge them to be better. Friendship means nothing if it's built on mediocrity. Loyalty means nothing if it's keeping you poor, weak, and unmotivated. Take a look at the top players in the world. They don't have losers in their circle. They're surrounded by killers, by movers, by men who wake up every day ready to conquer. Because winners don't want company, they want results. So I'll ask you this: who do you spend your time with? Who do you listen to? Who do you take advice from? If the answer is people who are broke, people who are unmotivated, people who settle for less, then you already know why you're not where you want to be. Change your circle, change your life. It's that simple. Discipline over motivation. Let me destroy another myth right now. Motivation is a joke. Motivation is weak. Motivation is like a sugar rush. You feel great for a few minutes, then you crash. You get pumped up watching a video, listening to a speech, reading a book. But what happens the next day? What happens when you wake up tired? When you don't feel like working? When everything in your body is screaming for comfort? This is where 99% of people fail. They rely on motivation instead of discipline. Discipline is what separates the men from the boys. Motivation is a feeling, but discipline is a decision. It doesn't matter how you feel, it matters what you do. You think the top players in the world wake up every day feeling like champions? Hell no, they wake up sore, exhausted, mentally drained. But they show up anyway. They put in the work anyway, because they know that success isn't about feelings. It's about consistency. It's about showing up when you don't want to, pushing forward when you're tired, and executing when every fiber of your being wants to quit. The reason most of you will never reach your potential is because you're addicted to comfort. You only work when you feel like it. You only grind when you're inspired. And that's why you fail. Discipline is about making the right choice every single day, regardless of how you feel. It's about training your mind to do what's necessary, even when your body screams no. So if you want to be that man, stop chasing motivation, build discipline, show up, do the work, no excuses, no breaks, no bullshit. That's how you win. If you want to be a king, act like one. You want power? Act like you already have it. You want wealth? Think like a rich man before you ever see a dime. You want respect? Start carrying yourself like someone who commands it. The reason most of you aren't where you want to be is because you act like peasants while expecting to be treated like kings. Look around. The powerful don't hesitate. They don't second guess themselves. They don't walk into a room looking for approval. They own every space they step into. They project confidence, certainty, dominance. And because of that, the world bends to their will. Most of you walk through life like timid little mice, afraid to take up space, afraid to speak with conviction, afraid to step into your own power. And then you wonder why no one takes you seriously. Respect is never given, it's taken. You don't wait for people to recognize your worth. You make them see it. The biggest shift you need to make is internal. You need to stop seeing yourself as small. You need to stop acting like an average nobody. Start moving, thinking, and speaking like a man who expects success, demands excellence, and refuses to settle for anything less than what he deserves. Because here's the truth, before you ever become rich, powerful, or respected, you need to act like you already are. The world doesn't give handouts to the weak. It rewards those who carry themselves with certainty, with boldness, with unshakable confidence. So step up, take charge, and act like the king you were meant to be. Legacy over everything. If you died today, what would they say about you? Would they remember you as a man of action, a man who built something great, a man who left his mark on this world? Or would you be just another faceless nobody, another man who lived and died without making a damn difference? The problem with most of you is that you're thinking too small. You're focused on today, on next week, on next month. But real men think in decades. Real men think in legacies. They don't just work for themselves. They work to build something that will outlive them. Something that will echo through time long after they're gone. Weak men chase comfort. Strong men chase immortality. And no, I'm not talking about living forever. I'm talking about impact. I'm talking about building something so big, so powerful, so undeniable that the world has no choice but to remember your name. Whether it's an empire, a dynasty, a movement, or a revolution. It doesn't matter. What matters is that when your time is up, you can look back and know you didn't waste a single second playing small. You ever wonder why certain names never die? Why people still talk about the greatest warriors, leaders, and entrepreneurs hundreds or even thousands of years later? Because they understood one thing. Ordinary men are forgotten, but legends live forever. They were obsessed with impact. They didn't just exist, they dominated. And that's exactly what separates the greats from the rest. So ask yourself, what are you building? What will you leave behind? If you're just living for the next paycheck, the next weekend, the next distraction, then congratulations, you're already dead. But if you have the fire, if you have the vision, if you refuse to accept mediocrity, then today is the day you start moving like a man who is writing history. Your time is limited. Your days are numbered. Every second you waste is a second closer to the end. So, what the hell are you waiting for? Get out there, build something legendary, and make damn sure that when your time comes, the world will never forget your name. So here we are. You've heard it all. 7 key principles that separate the weak from the strong, the forgotten from the remembered, the ordinary from the extraordinary. And now only one question remains. Are you that man? Are you the man who refuses to make excuses, the man who embraces discomfort, the man who cuts out the dead weight, builds discipline, commands respect, and moves with the mindset of a king? Are you the man who is ready to carve his name into history? Or are you just another talker, another excuse maker, another weak soul waiting for permission to be great? Because let me tell you something. Nobody's going to hand you greatness. No one is coming to save you. No one gives a damn whether you win or lose. It's all on you. So, what's it gonna be? Will you rise, or will you fade into nothingness like the billions of nameless men who came before you? This is your moment, your choice, your battle. Now go out there and prove you're that man.